Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Mitten. I'm a culinary nutrition expert, an award-winning holistic nutritional consultant, and author of cookbook Some Good.
Hi everyone, and I'm Gareth Mitten. I'm a marketing guy by day. I'm also a published author and essayist. I'm a certified meditation instructor and just a general student of healthy and simple living.
And today we're going to start sharing a series with you where we talk about different health and wellness topics, including tips on how you can live your healthiest life with adventure and simplicity.
Yeah, Jess and I are always sitting down and talking just naturally about different topics in the health and wellness sphere and just in terms of how we approach our lives. And we thought, what better way to bring some of our thinking to the world than just sitting down and having a chat. So this is going to be a regular series for us. We're going to be covering topics around health, nutrition, but just living a life of adventure and simplicity, as we like to say.
There's going to be so many health tips that you will be able to gain from this series as well. So I'm just going to start by sharing my story. When I started my journey on nutrition, I had my own health issues that I had to deal with. I went to doctors to try to find answers on how to, overcome the health issues I was having. I was told that things were natural and this is how my body was supposed to act at certain age or certain life cycles of my life. And I didn't feel right, I didn't feel comfortable, and I really needed some other advice because I wasn't feeling healthy and I wasn't well, I wasn't thriving, and I decided to look elsewhere to get advice on how to address my health concerns. So today, part of our topic today is really going to be about how to take responsibility for your own health. And that's exactly what I did. I went out there, I kept an open mind, I asked questions, I spoke with a naturopathic doctor to get a different view on how I could address my health concerns. And I was able to look to food and meditation and mindfulness and different lifestyle techniques to help myself live a healthier life and overcome my health issues. And Gareth, you've had a similar story as well, where you've been able to overcome some of your health issues as well, just by looking at a different approach and taking responsibility for your health.
Yeah, we always kind of say it's funny how our stories kind of followed a similar track around the time that Jess was busy getting a massive fibroid tumor. I was really kind of reaching a peak of a path that I'd been on, which was overworking and then on the weekends overdoing it with alcohol and partying and then kind of going around again in this kind of vicious cycle. Mm-hmm. So we both kind of reached a point where, you know, we realized that we needed to make changes or you know, we were kind of not happy with the track that we were on. So for me, you know, it was a lot of, I stopped drinking almost 7 years ago now. I don't always had an interest in meditation, and I don't always suffer from some anxiety and whatnot. So as many people do these days, there's a lot going on. Our lives are very busy. So, you know, I went and found other ways and I trained in meditation and, you know, over the course of the years, I've learned a lot from Jess as well and the studies that she's been doing in nutrition and you know, I eventually did a course to actually instruct meditation. And we just generally sort of evolved together. You know, I fed off what Jess was doing, she fed off what I was doing, mm-hmm. And then we kind of, you know, in recent years kind of got to a point where we realized, there's probably a lot of people that are going through similar things or have gone through similar things to us. And, you know, a lot of what we've experienced, and we've kind of done it the hard way at times, but I think where we are now in our life is a very is a very healthy place, and probably our experiences and things we've learned could be of use to other people, which has been the whole impetus for Some Good Living and for this video series too.
Yeah, we've together we've kind of evaluated our values and beliefs and looked at ways that we could take responsibility for our own health. And just by doing that, we've been able to achieve so much mentally, physically, just within our relationship as well, because that's not always an easy task being married to someone.
No, and especially
Yeah.
when somebody, we all
Yeah.
change, as the years go by, and it's something that I've remarked on before. It's like if you don't sort of follow a similar path through these changes, then you can easily see how people grow apart, I guess is the term that's used. But I think when we accept that nobody remains stagnant, or nobody should remain stagnant or the same. Jess was 22, I think, when we met.
Yeah.
That's young.
Things
that's
change.
very, very young. If she
Yeah.
wasn't different by the age of 35, there'd probably be something a bit wrong, So we do change, and I think we have to. I think generally people need to be more understanding of that in each other and accepting of that.
And open.
Yeah,
as well.
and open is a big part of it. So anyway, we're rambling a little bit now, but
Yeah.
we kind of want to get on and to this week's. It's our first week, but we do hope that there'll be more. This will be a regular series.
Yeah.
And as Jess said, we really wanted to talk today about taking responsibility for your own health. We don't. That might sound a bit preachy, but we don't mean that in a preachy way. More in the sense that as we discovered ourselves, there were things that we weren't well, at a certain point in our lives, and we were still quite young, and when you're in Jess's case having surgeries, and in my case having to sort of burning out really and reassess, and in your early 30s and saying to yourself, holy, what am I doing wrong here? Something has to change. Then you really kind of have to examine, and you have to take some responsibility for that. So we really kind of wanted to talk today about what we mean when we say taking responsibility for your own health, and what that means for us.
Yeah, so we have a few tips that we'd like to share with you today that help us kind of take responsibility for our health so we could, live a healthier lifestyle. So these are the things that helped us, and we're going to share them with you. Gareth, did you want to start with the first tip?
Yeah, sure. So I'll kick it off. So as Jess said, like we've kind of boiled it down. We want to do a lot of these videos, so we could go on for hours, but we try to boil it down to 5 tips here to become accountable for your own health. And the first one that we thought was the most important off the top is this idea of being proactive and not reactive. And I think that's a pretty good rule in life, when we're proactive, when we prepare ourselves in life, as opposed to, waiting to the last minute for things and reacting. That's generally a pretty good rule of thumb for most things. With your health, I think we tend to live. We kind of look at sort of our health system, and we kind of look at it now and say it's a little bit of a reactive kind of system, where we kind of chug along and we have the habits that we have, and we live the lifestyle that we have, and then we get symptomatic, and then what do? We react and we go to a doctor, typically, right? So then the doctor might kind of say, okay, what's wrong? It's like, okay, well, here's my symptom, and they'll say, okay, well, here's the thing to deal with that symptom. Off you go, brilliant. Now I've just taken care of that symptom. I can go right back to doing what I was doing before. The problem with that, of course, if over time, and this is obviously a very simplified explanation, and I want to also make clear that I'm not in any way dismissing the importance of doctors and medical practitioners. We all very much need those guys, But what I am talking about is, for things that are preventable, lifestyle diseases and conditions that we're bringing upon ourselves, I think it's important to say, look, my health is important. I only got one shot at this, as far as I know, independent of what your beliefs are. I kind of need to make sure that I'm getting the most out of life, and that means taking care of this one body that I have. So when we talk about being proactive, that's the things like the nutrition and regular exercise, and taking care of ourselves mentally, and our beliefs and our self-talk and the things we're saying to ourselves. All of these things contribute, keeping our stress levels down, all these things contribute to a proactive approach to health.
And I think it can be, you don't have to do everything at once. Take it a step at a time. There's many different aspects of your life that you can be proactive in. Just this Sunday, my husband and I, or Gareth and I don't know why I do that, you're right, Gareth, but we just did a whole bunch of food. We were proactive. We cooked up some things. We did some freezer meals, so we have it later throughout the week because we're very busy, and it's hard to get healthy food in when you're busy and on the go. So we made a point to go out, do our grocery stop, come home, have some time together, and we prepped our food together. So we're not only getting prepared for the meal, but we're also strengthening our relationship by spending good quality time together, by doing things that's going to enforce healthy habits in our life. So yeah, that was just one of the things that we did. And another thing could be planning your day the night before, or making sure you're getting your workouts in a certain time of the day. And we'll get more into that after. So being proactive, definitely an important part of a healthy lifestyle. So I'm just going to go into the next one. One of the things that really changed how we, adapted new habits in our life was just to be open and ask questions. I was getting really fed up with my health concerns and didn't know where to turn because I wasn't getting any relief. So the major thing that I did was to ask questions, look outside the box, find out ways that I could help myself other than one health avenue. So I was able to look at my nutrition, my lifestyle. I spoke with a naturopathic doctor. I started to look into other practitioners that may be able to help me. So massage therapists, acupuncturists, and all that holistic view really kind of helped me help myself. So being open, asking questions as to why things are happening to you, I think is super important to really getting the help that you need. Because if you're not well in a certain situation that you are in, and you continue on that path, and you keep seeing that same practitioner over and over, and you're not getting better, maybe that practitioner is not right for you. Maybe you need to look at other ways and ask those questions to help yourself improve and thrive in your life.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to, what we were saying before about, and it comes back to the overarching topic of today's conversation, which is being accountable for your own health and taking responsibility for your own health, and not just going, this hurts, or I feel this way, I'm going to go to the doctor and just say, fix this, get the pill, go away. Yeah. And say, okay, that's fixed now. I can just go back to doing what I was doing. And this is not to say that, every doctor is different, and some are going to get a little bit more to the root of the cause. Some are going to be more open to different health solutions. There's a very wide spectrum of beliefs and of training and backgrounds and where they're at in their career might influence things. So, you need to, or we feel that, it's important to take that responsibility yourself, and asking the questions is part of that, and not just blindly saying, okay, you're the boss, I'll do that. We're in the information age. You gotta be very careful. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but if you find good sources and you do your research, you can educate yourself, and you can learn the things that you need to learn in order to be able to ask the right questions as well, right?
Yeah, a lot of research as well. Just, there's so much information online now. A lot of it can be contradictory, but if you do your research and educate yourself, it's so easy these days. There's so much information online to do that, and it's free. There's lots of ways to learn about new ways to address your health.
And we'll get more into that kind of stuff specifically. Again, we don't want to
bombard you
on everything in the first episode here. So that in that spirit, we'll move on to the next one, which is definitely your area, Jess. Number 3 is food and nutrition. Yeah,
so definitely a huge part. Just like a car getting gas to fuel it, you're not going to give it a different type of fuel to get it going if that's not what the vehicle's going to accept, just like our bodies. So we need nutrients, we need minerals, we need all these different good nutrition in our diet to help us thrive, and we do that through good, wholesome food. So if we're out eating, you know, pizzas and pastries and all this junk food all the time, we're not going to feel good, we're not going to thrive, we're not going to have the energy that we need to work efficiently throughout our day. But if we're eating, you know, our fruits and our vegetables and humanely raised meats, eggs, you know, all these really good foods that we have available to us, if we fill our bodies with that, we will thrive. We will provide it the nutrients that we need. You know, they are there to create those building blocks that we need for our brain, for different organs in our body, just to give us that energy so we can go to work, so we can do our workout, so we can have fun on the weekend. We need to get those nutrients in our diet. And, you know, looking at the vast majority of fast foods out there now and sugar-filled foods, like those types of foods are going to deplete our system. So we're not only, you know, feeding it bad junk, but it's also going to deplete our body of the nutrients that we're trying to get in other foods. So it's really important to focus on those wholesome, good, natural foods that we find from, you know, the earth, from plants and things like that. So definitely important piece, I would think.
And that is very much the summary of that. And obviously, you know, two things I want to say to Jess's points there is, number one, healthy food doesn't need to not taste good. And that one thing that Jess has really kind of applied a lot of time and effort to is, you know, finding ways to, you know, create dishes that are delicious and nutritious. That little rhymey catchphrase that you hear a lot, but that's true. And if you go check out her cookbook, Some Good, she actually took, you know, a lot of traditional Newfoundland dishes. Jess is from Newfoundland originally, and ingredients from there, and came up with a lot of, you know, they're all gluten-free, refined sugar-free, dairy-free, very nutritious, very good for you. And there's no reason, again, access to food has never been better in the Western world. You know, we're very, very fortunate that we can have, you know, fresh grown ingredients at our table. And again, the other thing I'll say is that I think there's a lot of misconception around the cost of that. We went and did a fairly substantial grocery shop yesterday. I think we spent about $150. I couldn't believe the amount of, you know, fresh vegetables, meats, and organic stuff that we got, that we can make dishes out of now that are going to last us for definitely a week or two, you know.
For sure.
So, you know,
it doesn't have
I
to
think
be complicated.
sometimes the convenience is part of it, and I think that's something we'll get into further down the road as well. We're big believers in meal prep, and we did that, you know, that was 2 hours of our Sunday yesterday that we put some music on, we cooked some food, we had a laugh, we did it together. It's not a bad way to spend your Sunday, and then we come out of it feeling great because we know that we have food prepared for the week, and we're not, when we get in busy mode, we're not going to be going around
rushing and stressing about what are we going to eat, because that stress is not helping our body either. So it all goes back to being proactive and making sure that you are prepared to take on your day.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brings us, you're talking of your day, nice segue there. I think we've done this before. Point number 4 is exercise. Yes, we all need it. Some of us probably enjoy it more than others. What I will say is that we probably all enjoy some form of exercise, and I think the biggest single point, and we'll talk more about exercise and keeping active in other blog posts and in other videos, but the single biggest thing, and there is a blog post on Some Good Living about this subject, is just choosing the exercise that's right for you. You know, I see so many people, you know, sign up for a gym and try to force themselves, and maybe they're just not gym people. That's something I had to figure out. I'm not a gym person because I'm very slow moving, and I found the time it took me, you know, to get ready, get to the gym, do the workout, which took me longer than most people, then get a shower, then come home. I mean, I've lost half a day. Like, it's crazy. I can't do it. It's not sustainable. And sustainability in your exercise and the active things you're doing is so key, because it's like a diet, you know, a quote unquote fad diet, where it might work for a few weeks and you feel deprived and terrible, but you lose 10 pounds and then you go, you know, that's
Then
done.
you go back
and then
to
you
your
just
old
go
ways.
back to what you were doing. It's pointless. And it's just the same with exercise. There's no point in going on some crazy, look, those things, you know, at certain times, if you want to sort of drop weight or you want to get in better shape, I'm about to start. I'm half nervous about it. A pretty intense sort of boot camp type routine for a few weeks to get in better shape, but which I'll also be talking about. So look out for that on the blog. But at the end of the day, sustainability is key for me, and just kind of similarly. We find that, you know, 20 to 30 minutes exercise a day, try to do it in the mornings, because we know if we get up and get it done in the morning, not only does that raise our metabolism for the whole day, and you're burning more fat when you're sat in your seat doing your computer work, but also you got that sense of accomplishment, and it's done and it's out of the way. I'm not saying that's for everybody. Some people aren't morning people.
That works for us. And I think the main thing is adopting something that you are going to stay consistent with. Because if you're just going to do it for a certain amount of time and then drop it because it becomes too difficult, or you just don't have the time, or it's too hard to incorporate into your daily routine, then it's probably not the right exercise regime for you. You really need to figure out what's working for you. And it could be different from one day to the next. It doesn't have to be the same thing, you know, but finding what works for you is super important, I think.
Yeah, that's the key. We're not all athletes, you know, so maybe brisk walking is your thing, you know, and that's fine. That can be really good exercise, really good for blood pressure. You know, we all kind of operate at different levels of athleticism and activity, but finding what you enjoy and something that you're going to want to do and stick to on a consistent basis, the single biggest thing, in our opinion, for the keeping up with a regular exercise regime. So that's point number 4, is exercise, and our final point is point number 5, and we summarize that as mindfulness.
Yeah, a big one for sure. If you are not mindful of what you're doing day to day, you can really struggle on what it is you want in your life, or how you're going to approach life and make those choices. What would you say are some of your biggest mindfulness tips around like your day-to-day?
Like to your point there, I think finding your why is such a big part of it. Like anything that you're doing, why is the most powerful question you can ask, because, you know, it's not necessarily come back to like exercise routines. Well, you know, if it's just that you got shamed into like doing some exercise, maybe that's not a good enough reason. Maybe it's not gonna be compelling enough. You're not gonna believe it enough to be consistent with it. So I think finding your why in anything. There's so many different things we can do these days. We have so many tools at our disposal, such technology. You know, I know Jess and I, you know, we really love our projects, and there's lots of things we'd like to do, but we got to really sit down and say, why is this important? And prioritizing kind of comes into that too. So prioritizing, not being too hard on yourself. We're bombarded with a lot of information, a lot of stimulation these days. So things like meditation, which we'll talk a lot more about on the blog, is something that I'm really big into. Other ways of managing sort of the stresses and the anxiety, mindfulness in your day-to-day. And
choices, mindfulness in your choices, like as simple as what you're going to be eating for dinner, or what you're at the grocery store and you see the impulse buy rack. Like, be mindful. Do you really need that, or is it just, you know, an impulse of getting the next
Nobody
thing?
needs a Captain Crunch.
Right?
I'm just saying, man. They're good, but you don't need it.
So just being mindful about your decisions and how they are incorporated into your life to make a better life for yourself, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So that pretty much concludes. We're trying to keep these not too long, because we know you got a lot to be doing, and other than listening to us dribble on all day long. So just to summarize here, if you want to get more of us, more Gareth and Jessica, more Some Good Living, go to somegoodliving.com. That's where we live. There's blogs, there's recipes. Just those adding amazing healthy recipes to there. There's what else is on there?
There's tips. We have this YouTube channel, so Please like our videos if you are enjoying them. Subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to turn on your notifications as well. Because if you want to continue getting our tips, these will be great reminders for you.
You get a little ding dong, and into your inbox we shall fly.
Yes.
There's also, there's exercise stuff. We like to travel around. Just going back to what's on the blog now, we like to travel around a bit and take little road trips.
Oh yeah, so there's an adventure section there on how you can stay healthy while traveling, different tips, food guides. We're also on Facebook and Instagram
Tons
as well.
of good stuff.
Yeah,
Tons
and
of good
Pinterest.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
all of them.
so lots of goodies for you guys.
So go check them out online and on the various social media channels. We're off to, what are we doing? We're going to eat some delicious lunch that we prepared yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's going to be quick and easy and delicious. And then we're going to go for a nice dog walk in the park with friends this afternoon. That's what we call some good living, guys. So let's join you back here next time. And until then,
Bye-bye.
live well.